Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So we are going to continue with Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Lila, Chapter 1, The Spiritual Masters. Text number 101. Eka adbhuta samakale dona hara prakasha ara adbhuta chitta guhara tamha karinasha. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. The first wonder is that both brothers appear simultaneously, and the other is that they illuminate the innermost depths of the heart. What a beautiful translation. It two very important points here. But before I start, Om Jnana Thimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. What does he say? That these two brothers, that is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda, they have appeared simultaneously together, and they are here to illuminate the innermost depths of the heart. Now, illumination, how does illumination take place? Excuse me. Illumination will take place if somehow or the other we can meditate on the Damodar Leela. When Yashoda Maya, she was trying to tie up Krishna, right, to the mortar, but she was always running short of 2 fingers. She tried to bring some more rope, and every time she did that, it was 2 fingers short. So what are those 2 fingers? One is our sincere endeavor, and the second is mercy of the Supreme Lord. When we are somehow or the other following the path of Krishna consciousness very seriously and sincerely, then Guru and Krishna will, shower their mercy on us. Then there will be illumination, where it says in the innermost depths of the heart. Right now, most of us, our hearts are full of what you call gunk, unnecessary things, anarthas. So unless we purify the heart, we will not be able to realize the illumination in the innermost depths of the heart. I was listening to this nice lecture yesterday where the speaker was talking about the anarthas. So first of all, we need to recognize those anarthas. Oh, I get angry. Okay, that's an anartha. So first we have to name that anartha, right? It is called anger. Then we have to feel, name, feel, face, release. These are the 4 steps. Excuse me. So first we give a name, we identify, yes, this is the anartha I have. Then we have to feel it. Yes, sometimes the mind tricks us. And what does it say? No, it's not an anartha. It's very natural to get angry. Everybody gets angry, right? But first we name it, then we feel it. Yes, this is an anartha I need to get rid of. Then face it. Yes, this is what you call, I have what you call, not a nice quality I have, and I need to get rid of it and work towards it. Find out a way. Talk to senior devotees. Find out how can I get rid of this anartha. And once we start on this path, then we need to release it. Then we will get rid of that anartha. So it's important to sit down and contemplate on all the anarthas we have in the heart and try to remove them one by one. So, what's the process? Name it, feel it, face it, release it. These are the first steps. So here he's talking about how merciful are Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda. They have come together to help us illuminate the inner depths of our heart. Verse number 102. Ei Chandra Surya Dui Parama Sadaya Jagatira Bhage Gaudhe Karila Udaya. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. These two, the sun and moon, are very kind to the people of the world. Thus, for the good fortune of all, they have appeared on the horizon of Bengal. Purport. The celebrated, excuse me, the celebrated ancient capital of the Sena dynasty, which was known as Gauda Desh or Gauda, was situated in what is now the modern district of Malda. Later, this capital was transferred to the ninth or central island on the western side of the Ganges at Navadvip, which is now known as Mayapur and was then called Gaudapura. Lord Chaitanya appeared there and Lord Nityananda came there and joined him from the district of Birbhum. They appeared on the horizon of Gauda Desh to spread the signs of Krishna consciousness, and it is predicted that as the sun and moon gradually move west, the movement they began 500 years ago will come to the Western civilizations by their mercy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityanand Prabhu drive away the five kinds of ignorance of the conditioned souls. In the Mahabharata Udyoga Parva, 43rd chapter, these five kinds of ignorance are described. They are accepting the body to be the self, making material sense gratification one's standard of enjoyment, being anxious due to material identification, lamenting and thinking that there is anything beyond the absolute truth. The teachings of Lord Chaitanya eradicate these five kinds of ignorance. Whatever one sees or otherwise experiences, one should know to be simply an exhibition of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's energy. Everything is a manifestation of Krishna. How beautiful. See, they have come to give us their mercy, to be kind to us. How are they kind to us? They are kind because they came and gave us love of Godhead for free. No charge at all, free. They came to spread Krishna consciousness. They came to lift us from the material sense gratification and come to the stage of Krishna consciousness where everything that we do is dovetailed to Krishna. As here in the last sentence of the purport, Prabhupada says everything is a manifestation of Krishna, right? Excuse me. So, we have already learned in Bhagavad Gita that everything comes from Krishna, everything belongs to Krishna. So, everything should be used in Krishna's service. And both Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda came to teach us how to do that, right? They gave us a very precious gem, and that is love of Krishna. Unless we come to that stage, unless we purify ourselves, we will not be able to, qualify to go back to the spiritual world. What is our good fortune? Our good fortune is that they came 500 years ago. Imagine if they had not come. Then we would, of course, have the Bhagavad Gita, which was re-spoken 5,000 years ago. But then how would we know how to practice it, how to put it into practice? So they came in the form of a devotee just to show us how to become a devotee of Krishna. So when we have this good fortune, thanks to Srila Prabhupada, that we have these translations and the purports, right? So we should take advantage of it. Instead of taking advantage, most people, even after coming to Krishna consciousness, they are not serious about it. And then what happens? The human form of life is wasted. You see, Shastras, they are giving us references. References about everything, who is God, who we are, about material nature, eternal time, karma, also talking about Krishna's incarnations, right? uh, Also, giving us reference about his name of his father, his mother, the place where he appears, all that is there. And Srila Prabhupada, like it is mentioned in the book, just like the sun rises and then goes to the west, similarly Srila Prabhupada, he took this knowledge of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and brought it to the west, right? He landed up in the US just to spread this Krishna consciousness. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is talking about 5 kinds of ignorance, right? What's the first thing we learn in Bhagavad Gita? You are not this body. And because we are not putting that theory into practice, we still get affected by the body, right? Thinking body to be the self, being completely absorbed in sense gratification, very anxious for material identification. Oh, I am this, I am that. In the office, this is my position. In the family, I'm the head of the family. So, all that material identification. And then when we are not satisfied, we start lamenting, right? Lamenting about what? Oh, why did God do this to me? Why this is happening to me? We don't want to take the blame on ourselves that because of our past activities, we are in a situation where we are right now. But at least we can improve the future. And thanks to Srila Prabhupada, he's given us beautiful purpose to explain to us. Right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came 500 years ago to guide us how to eradicate these sufferings, how to remove the ignorance, how to come to the stage of pure knowledge and pure love for Krishna. This is what he showed us when he came 500 years ago. Where did he come? It is mentioned in a place called on the horizon of Bengal, verse number 103. Sei dui prabhura kari charana vandana yanaha iti vignanasha abhishta purana. Translation. Let us therefore worship the holy feet of these two lords. Thus one can be rid of all difficulties on the path of self-realization. How wonderful. It's talking about worshipping the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda. How do we do that? It's a $1,000,000 question. Simple. Srila Prabhupada has given us a process. And when we follow the process given to us by the acharyas, then what will be the result? Verse says, then one can be rid of all difficulties on the path of self-realization. So this is possible only for a sincere devotee. When Krishna sees, he's situated as Paramatma in the heart, when he sees the sincere efforts, the seriousness in Krishna consciousness, then he helps. And then he gradually removes all the obstacles that come on the path of Krishna consciousness, right? Srila Prabhupada has given us a process, and by mercy of Krishna, we also have a spiritual master, a bona fide spiritual master. We have the association of the devotees. We have Srila Prabhupada's books. We have prasadam. We have temples. We have festivals. Everything Srila Prabhupada has given to us on a platter. All we have to do is just take it. Imagine if there is a bowl of gulab jamuns in front of us. Do we have to think twice before picking one and eating? No. We just whoop, 1, 2, 3, as many as our stomach can digest. right? Here, Srila Prabhupada has given Krishna consciousness on a platter. All we have to do is just take it. And how can we really take it seriously? When we become very sincere on the path of Krishna consciousness. Verse number 104. এই দুই শ্লোকে কৈলা মঙ্গল বন্দনা তৃতীয় শ্লোকের अर्थ शून्य सर्वजना. Translation. I have invoked the benediction of the Lords with these two verses, text 1 and 2 of this chapter. Now please hear attentively the purport of the third verse. Hear attentively. If you remember, in the very beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, we heard that the first qualification is to hear attentively, and hear attentively and submissively. Right here also, Krishnadas Kaviraj is making it very clear that one should hear attentively. He's saying, I have already invoked the benediction of the Lords. Right? Now hear attentively the purport of the third verse. Verse number 105. वक्तव्य बाहुल्य ग्रंथ विस्तारे हृदरे विस्तारेण वर्णि सारार्थ कहि अल्पाक्षरे. Translation. I purposely avoid extensive description for fear of increasing the bulk of this book. I shall describe the essence as concisely as possible. You see, 500 years ago also, Krishnadas Kaviraj knew that we are lazy people. If it's going to be a really thick book, it'll take us a very long time to pick it up and read. I don't know if you all have noticed during book distribution, even Srila Prabhupada knew. That's why he gave us those small paperback books, small books like Easy Journey to Other Planets, Perfect Questions, Perfect Answers, what is it, The Higher Taste, so many small books. Why? Because when we are going on book distribution, there are many people who don't want to take a Bhagavad Gita because it's so thick, and they are wondering, oh, I don't have the time to read so many pages. So the small books are there. Okay, at least read these few pages. Once they read those few pages, they read Srila Prabhupada's book. Then Srila Prabhupada starts preaching to them through his book. And Krishnadas Kaviraj realized Kali Yuga is progressing, and we people, lazy people, if we see that Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela itself is so huge, then we say, oh, who is going to read that? Let me just go to those small books that Srila Prabhupada has given. That is why he says that he is putting the essence as concisely as possible. Verse number 106. Mitam cha saram cha vacho hi vagamita iti. Translation. Essential truth spoken concisely is true eloquence. What a beautiful sentence. So much is in there, right? So much information in just one small sentence. Essential truth spoken concisely is true eloquence, right? Satya. Truth means Satya, and it has to be in a compact form. And it has to be spoken eloquently, a nice way of talking, right? Defining true eloquence. What is it? Convincing and pleasing way of talking. And when he says essential truth means speaking truth only in a compact way. We learned in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna talks about austerity of speech. What is austerity of speech? That one must speak the truth, but one must speak it in a very pleasing way so that the other person is not agitated. So, which means we have to take care of 2 points. It has to be the truth, but it has to be spoken in a very pleasing way. right? Supposing we don't like something that someone is doing, instead of just going and blurting out that, oh no, yes, we have to speak the truth, but it has to be in a very pleasing way. It's not that we are dishonest, or we don't speak the truth just because we don't want to hurt the other person's feelings. No, we speak the truth. Honesty is one of the qualifications of a brahmana. Honesty. So it should be concise, it should be convincing and pleasing. It's a pleasing way of talking, right? Speaking the truth. A simple example could be simple living, high thinking. It's the essential truth which is spoken concisely, that you live a simple life and your thinking should be high. Verse number 107. Shunile khandi bechitera agnanadi dosha Krishna gadha prema habe paibe santosha. Translation. Simply hearing submissively will free one's heart from all the faults of ignorance, and thus one will achieve deep love for Krishna. This is the path of peace. We already learned the peace formula in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Bhoktaram yagna tapasam sarva loka maheshwara suridam sarva bhutanam gnatvamam shantim richati. Shanti means peace. That is the peace formula given to us by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. And here we see Krishnadas Kaviraj is saying simply hearing submissively. Right? If the attitude is, I know it all, I don't need to hear anymore, I know it. I have read Bhagavad Gita so many times. I have heard Bhagavatam so many times. I know it all. If we have that attitude, then the result will be that we will not be free of faults within the heart, faults of ignorance. No. If we want to free ourselves from ignorance, if we want to get enlightened, self realize, then we have to hear submissively. Talking about I know it all, there was a Ramayana Katha going on in a village, and the saintly person sadhu was talking about Lord Ramachandra, how his father had to ask him to go to exile for 14 years, and there was this man sitting right in front of that sadhu, and he's saying, I know. And then Ramayan continued. Then he said they suffered so much. They went to the forest. I know. For every sentence he kept saying, I know. So then, after the pravachan lecture was over, that sadhu called that man. He said, if you know it all, why do you come for Ramayan Katha? Right? If you know it all, you don't need to come. So, this is false ego. This is a pride that one has, that I know it all. I mean, there is no way that in this one life we can know it all. No. All we can do is try sincerely to hear submissively, attentively, follow the process sincerely and seriously, and pray to the Lord that please help me to remove this ignorance. And here, what does he say? Simply hearing submissively will free one's heart from all the faults of ignorance. And what will be the result when the ignorance is gone from the heart? One will achieve deep love for Krishna, not just love for Krishna, deep love for Krishna, and that is the path of peace. Which means we cannot be happy and peaceful until and unless the ignorance is removed from our heart and deep love for Krishna develops. Otherwise, there is no other way. Why? Why a person would not take up to Krishna consciousness with all these beautiful verses, with all this so much nectar given to us by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Lord Nityananda, right? So imagine, see what was when Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, when he noticed that Srila Prabhupada would come to his lecture and he would hear attentively. That is what attracted Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur to Srila Prabhupada. And he gave him the instruction that you please spread Krishna consciousness in the West. So, what was the result? It was just submissive hearing by Srila Prabhupada. In one of the lectures, Prabhupada said, sometimes I would not even understand what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was saying, but I was listening to him attentively and submissively, right? So then, if we do that, then we will be able to achieve the deep love for Krishna. So this verse also is talking about the peace formula. Let's read 108 and 109. Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Advaita Mahatva Tanra Bhakta Bhakti Nama Prema Rasa Tattva Bhinna Bhinna Likhiyachi Kariya Vichara Shunile Janibe Sabha Vastu Tattvasara. Translation. If one patiently hears about the glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sri Nityananda Prabhu, and Sri Advaita Prabhu, and their devotees, devotional activities, names, and fame, along with the mellows of their transcendental loving exchanges, one will learn the essence of the absolute truth. Therefore, I have described these in the Chaitanya Charitamrita with logic and discrimination. How very beautiful. What is the first qualification? Patiently hear, right? It should not be that I start reading today and I should know it all, everything by tomorrow. No, there has to be patience. So first step is hearing. Like Prahlad Maharaj also, he doesn't say Kirtanam Shravanam, he says Shravanam Kirtanam. First hearing and then following the process, which is chanting. Why has the Lord given us 2 ears? So that we hear more and we speak less. We hear more. So hearing is very, very important. So here it says that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda, and Sri Advaita Acharya. And not only that, also is talking about their devotees, their devotional activities, loving exchanges, right? Everything, all this, if one will learn, then one will learn the essence of the absolute truth. In the beginning days when Srila Prabhupada came to the West, even though it is said that, one should read Srimad Bhagavatam from Canto 1 and then go to Canto 10, but very soon he gave the devotees Krishna book, right? Krishna book is nothing but pastimes from the 10th canto. Why did he do that? Because the pastimes of Lord Krishna can attract one to Krishna consciousness. The beautiful. So that's why here it says that the loving exchanges, right? Why is it that Guru Maharaj insists, even Prabhupada used to say, read the books? Why does Guru Maharaj say read 2 hours every day? Because, first of all, Srila Prabhupada is speaking through his books. He's speaking to us. And also, we get more and more knowledge so that there is more and more purification, right? But for that, patience is required. Once, when it is time to read, we sit down to read, and the mind is going to say, are you crazy? You're going to read 2 hours? Where do you have the time? There is no time. You have to do this work and that work. You have to go there and go here and do. The mind is going to tell us, no, 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 it's not necessary. But it is very necessary, very essential that we read Srila Prabhupada's books every day. Why is it that Srila Vyasadeva, he compiled the Vedas and still he was not satisfied? He knew something is missing, even though he's incarnation of Krishna. But till his spiritual master Narad Muni pointed out to him, yes, you've given the Vedas, very nice, but you have not elaborated on the pastimes of Krishna and his devotees. That is what is missing, right? This is how Narad Muni guided Vyasadeva, and Vyasadeva could give us the pastimes of Lord Krishna in Srimad Bhagavatam, right? Why did he give those pastimes? So that we can relish them and we can build our relationship with Krishna, right? This way, when we read about Krishna's pastimes or his devotees' pastimes, then that understanding will come. Who is Krishna? And who are we? What is our position as far as Krishna is concerned? Who are we? How are we related to him? Of course, we are parts of Krishna, but our eternal position is to serve Krishna. So, whenever we read and we hear more and more and more, then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda, Sri Advaita Acharya, they will shower their mercy on us, and then we will be able to learn the essence of Krishna consciousness. Theoretically, we have learned, but how to put it into practice, right? So Krishnadas Kaviraj, he's saying, therefore I have described these in the Chaitanya Charitamrita with logic and discrimination. Very, very important. The last verse of this chapter 110. Shri Rupa Raghunatha Padiyarasha Chaitanya Charitamrita Kahe Krishnadasa. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Praying at the lotus feet of Rupa and Sri Raghunatha, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishnadas, narrate Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, following in their footsteps. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, first chapter, describing the spiritual masters, right? So we can see he is praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunatha. This is parampara. Very, very important to follow the parampara. Why is it that before we start the lecture, we always offer our obeisances, to Srila Prabhupada, to Radha Krishna, to Chaitanya? Why do we do that? Because we are eternally indebted to them for giving us Krishna consciousness. So we can see Krishnadas Kaviraj is following the parampara. He's saying that he's praying at the lotus feet of previous acharyas, right? Following in the footsteps of the previous acharyas. Very, very important. Always desiring their mercy, right? When we meet each other, uh, now of course with COVID-19, it's not that often, but whenever we meet each other, what should be the first question we put to each other? How are you? How's the stock market? What's happening in politics? No. We ask, how is your spiritual life? How is your chanting going on? Right? This is how we associate. Always desiring for association of the devotees, and then discussing the scriptures with them, discussing Lord Krishna's pastimes. Now, imagine today is the 12th of December. We're coming to an end of 2020. In fact, yesterday I was talking to Geeta Govinda, and I asked him, where did the 45 years of marriage go? We completed 45 years of togetherness yesterday. Where did they go? How many years out of those 45 years did we engage in Krishna consciousness? All that is gone. Can we get those back? No way. 2020 is coming to an end. Where did the whole year go by? Mostly went by thinking COVID 19, COVID 19, COVID 19. There was this japa going on, COVID 19, COVID 19. That is how the most of the year has gone by. It was so quick. Yes, it was challenging. But now that we are coming to the end of um, 2020, have we thought about 2021? Have we made any New Year resolutions which we will not break? Right? They always say New Year resolutions are made to be broken. No, we can make some spiritual New Year resolutions. How we can increase our spiritual efforts, how we can somehow or the other remove the anarthas from the heart. So this is how we can, make a New Year resolution something that we can sincerely follow, and somehow or the other go little closer to Lord Sri Krishna. So I'm going to end here if anyone has any questions.